And we're live. Hey everybody, happy Friday. It is the Friday Doodle coming to you live from Comics Workshop over at merrickbennett.com. Thanks to our patrons for making all this possible over at the Patreon. You can join patreon.com/merrickbennett. All right, I got to clear some projects away here and I'll show you those at the end. I've got a bunch of minis coming together here. So let's get down to basics. I've got an eraser, I've got my pencil, I've got a piece of paper. We're going to do a little picture today. It's the last day of winter, and I'm thinking, boy, the snow's melting. Let's do a little mountainside picture. So I'm going to start just by eyeballing the midline of my page, halfway to the top, between the top and bottom. Do a little line about halfway across. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'll do a light little line halfway between the left and the right side. And what that does is it gives me just about my center line of my page. And I'm going to do a little trick here I learned from an artist who was drawing over 200 years ago. So I'm going to create a mountainside coming down the page. It's going to come up and have a lip that's going to be a ski jump and then just drop off like a cliff. So let's bring down a curve on the left side. I tend to make my characters go from the left to right as they move across the page. So I start on the left, come down the mountain. I'll go below that midline. And I'm going to curve up right through the center line. That's why I found that center line there. And I'm going to curve. I'm actually going to do the same curve in reverse up into the top half, but curving down and then dropping off. See that curve? It's a really cool, it's like a mathematical graph. Isn't that cool? And what that is, actually, it's going to be the same whether you flip your page around or around. It's symmetrical. Ooh, it's hypnotic. It's like a pinwheel. And what that does is it gives our picture sort of symmetry. Here we have the mountain and the jump, and here we're going to have the sky or the distant view. And they both take up the same amount of space on the page. So that's a real quick, easy, fast way to get sort of, there's going to be an energy in the page because of that. So I have learned if I'm going to draw a skier, I'm just going to sketch this out. Somebody snowboarding or skiing, and I want to show them going off the jump, I can't show them touching the jump. They have to be either before or after in the air. So I'm not actually going to draw anybody right on that jump. I'm going to draw all my characters before and after. First character here, let's go up in this upper right quarter. Just so we've come down the mountain, we've come back up the jump, and boom, we've launched into the air. I'm going to draw the skis first. Let's put a monster in here. I do a lot of monsters because they're forgiving. So I'm just going to draw two little lines, and they curve up at the front, and they come to a point there. Try that again right next to it. Two little lines. They curve up at the front, come to a point, maybe a flat back. These are old-fashioned skis. Now, those two skis kind of point right back to the jump there. You see how I did that? So I'm not going to draw those lines to connect them. No, I'm going to leave that for now. So this looks like if they point back to the jump, it kind of makes the reader make that connection. Now let's put a fluff ball monster on here. So I'm just going to doodle sort of a blob fluff ball monster going around with those skis underneath. And then we can put let's put a face on there. Is this monster happy, scared? I'm thinking this monster has big wide set eyes. It can't believe it hit that jump so fast. Maybe it's got like a big open mouth here. Oh, it looks like it's having fun. That fun mix of terror and fun. I like drawing monsters because they kind of have their own expressions. Maybe we'll put a tongue in there and then black in that mouth. Oh yeah, that looks like just the right mix of terror and fun. We can put some ski boots. They're just little bumps on the skis here. And maybe we'll put some little mittens here. This monster doesn't have long legs and arms. Put some little mittens there. Yeah, that's kind of a cute monster, isn't it? Let's tuck a handle behind that thumb of that mitten and then bring a pole down and put a little cap on the pole. This is a well-equipped ski monster. Pole in this paw. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. Looks like it's having fun. And if you want to do a little trail of snow, you can put a couple dots as if snow and dirt and stuff got thrown off the jump as the monster came off. I don't do a lot of speed lines with this kind of composition. With the symmetry of the jump in the sky, you get sort of a launching effect. Let's do another monster over here next to it. Oh, let's do this one. This is a trick monster or a crashing monster. I'm going to come down a little bit, and I'm going to do the skis backwards this time. Backwards. Wait a minute. Let's make them not aligned. I don't want those skis to be pointing in the same direction. This monster is losing control. So I'll make one pointing that way, one pointing that way. Curve the tips. Let's make this, how about instead of a monster, this could be, I'm going to draw the ball down here. This is the body. I'm going to put 2 rabbit ears off here. I'll just put 2 eyes and a little, that looks like a dog face, but this is a rabbit. There we go. It's like a rabbit dog. And maybe I'll just do stick legs connecting to these. We'll do little bumps for boots connecting to the skis. And maybe this rabbit's arms are all over the place. And maybe the poles are like up here. And maybe one pole down here. This rabbit has totally lost its gear. And maybe there's just snow flying everywhere. All right, that's up in the air. So let's go back, and we've got a lot of space on this picture. Those are kind of the most energetic launching characters. Let's go back and we'll do, I wanted to do like maybe a snowboarder character coming down. So let's do again, like a big ski, the 2 lines together, and then we'll just curve the ends. And then we'll put over that. I kind of like characters that come out from the slope over into the sky. What do we do? Let's do like a big duck shape. So we'll do that curved teardrop. Give it a beak. Oh, this is a very serious duck. Look at that expression. Wings tucked. Probably it's going to spread its wings when it gets going into the sky. Do the 2 legs coming down. We'll just do little black ball boots there. You don't have to get into too much of the equipment. Let's give this duck like a crazy wintertime cap trailing back. Coming to, a pom-pom there. And then we'll just give that some stripes. That's a nice, Grandma Duck knit a nice long hat for this duck to keep this duck warm. And then we can, since it's pencil, we can erase those lines. So you can fill this slope up with all sorts of characters. Maybe, and like I said, I kind of avoid the moment of touching the jump because that looks like they're standing on the jump. But this, especially if we put some speed lines in or put a shadow underneath it, so it's like it's not even touching the slope. It's kind of zipping along, bouncing off of bumps. That's kind of a cool effect. You can put a couple tracks going along here. How about, I got an idea. I'm going to add a couple trees. So I'm just going to put a line in and make it sort of small fir trees. Let's put a couple on this side, on the other side of the mountain. That gives it a nice texture. I won't put any right in my character's way. I don't want this to be too dangerous, but I will put a couple trees coming down the slope here. And maybe one right here. Well, this is looking a little tricky. And then I can come in and I can remember doing our trails, our wintertime trails. I can zip along and show how one character went around and now maybe is down here. And maybe this will be, let's see. This will be my top hat cat. So I just do like a ball body with 2 cat ears. You can do the ball and then draw the ears. And give it 2 dot eyes and a big open scared mouth. Top hat cat didn't realize how fast they were going here. We'll do the top hat falling off back here. Maybe hands in the air. What do you think? A snowboard? Snowboard or skis? Or some kind of sled. I'll just give it a round sort of a snowboard shape. We'll do the ball boots on there. And maybe, oh, maybe the shadow dropping off like this. Just about to go over the edge. Oh, I like that. That's got some promise to it. Now, another decision we have to make here. So we have this symmetry, right? We have this curve that goes just below the half line, comes through the center, comes just above the half line. So actually the mountain, especially if we add some shadows under this skier and some shadows under this skier. I'm using lines for the shadows, so it looks like they're moving along. That kind of makes the mountain look a little more solid. Add a couple trees down here. Maybe there's lots of trees down below going off the edge. This looks promising. And you can add a lot of trees into the corner here, foreground trees. Remember, big, dark foreground trees that are in front of us, closer to us than any of these characters are. And then we have the sky above. We do have to make a decision here. Two places we could put our horizon that I can see. If I put my mountains, I'm going to make more mountains on the horizon. If I put some mountains down here, way down low, maybe a couple hills and things like that, right? You're going to feel like you're looking up into the sky, and this will feel really tall. The other option, I don't know if that's the way I want to go. Let me try the other option, and then I'll decide. The other option is I can put my horizon way up high here. Let's put a couple mountains up here. I'm going to keep them away from my characters. I think I won't do a mountain line right past my character like that. I'm not going to draw lines through or touching my characters. I want them to feel like they're hanging out there in the sky. So I'll stop that line before it comes to my little puffball monster. Maybe I'll do another mountain over here. That's going to feel like we're way up high looking down, and there's like fields and hills and towns and rivers. You can draw whatever you want into this landscape. Just keep a little space around these characters who are in the sky, because you want them to feel like they're floating in the sky. I kind of like that, but I think I'm going to go back. Now that I've seen it and I've penciled it, I can erase it. I'm going to go back and keep this super simple. If I had a little more sky area, I could do that landscape in the sky. But I'm going to go back and do my mountains down here, just a couple mountains and a hillside. And then I can do clouds up here, and it'll be nice and open. I like when I'm cartooning to try to keep, I don't always keep a lot of open space. Sometimes I fill up the page, but I like the feel of the open space and zipping off into the sky like that. I'll put a couple more trees here. Wherever you feel like, if you want to fit an earthworm on a toboggan, you can fit a lot of earthworms and little characters in here. Zip, zip. Right along there, about to go off the jump. Maybe somebody climbing up, and all sorts of places. Flying saucers in the sky. More snow on the way, or maybe the sun is shining and the snow is starting to melt. Down here would be in the shadows then. Oh, it's a shadowy cliff Top Hat Cat is going off of. Maybe we need a scarf on here. Nice long knit scarf, just like Grandma Duck knit a scarf, I think, for Top Hat Cat here. There we go. And then once we get all our characters in order, I'm going to come in with my inking tools. Remember my marker and my pen, and I'll do like the big shapes with my marker lines. I'll leave a little space around my characters so they can feel like they stand out in front of these lines. I'll come in and do that. And I'll come in with my pen and I'll ink my characters one by one. I know they all fit on here. I know they'll all land safely, don't worry. Or maybe they'll land in a big heap, but they'll get back up because the snow is real soft, the springtime snow. By the time we see you next week, it'll be springtime, time for our annual Sing Spring Doodle. So we'll do a blob doodle. Planning on that next week. We'll see where this goes. It's been a really fun winter doing these weekly doodles with you. We've got a good store of them, the Monday Music Monster doodles and the Friday just whatever live doodles, birds and trees and things. Oh, I like the look of that shadow with the thin lines. Gives it sort of a light light gray look. Maybe I'll try doing like dotted lines for the tracks. And I'm thinking these trees probably will look best with heavy lines. Or if you want to get out your crayons and your markers and do these in color, you can go crazy with colors here. I kind of want the trees to look fairly solid, like it's something you have to dodge between and go around. Not too light and brushy. Making sure my lines are a little crooked and a little wiggly because these trees are up high in the mountains, catching the wind all winter. Oh, I got to draw some birds in here. I should have the birds cheering them on, flying in the sky, perching in the trees. There's all sorts of ways you can take these pictures. Great way to explore a landscape of your imagination, maybe something you've seen, maybe something you've been around, or something you aspire to go and see. Mountain climbing like this. I don't aspire to jump off a cliff like this, but it's a lot of fun to draw and play with. I might try to fit a couple more characters in here. Then I'll finish inking it and I will post it to the Patreon. Put that right in there. We'll put it in the comments if possible. And I'm also posting over on the Patreon, I'm posting some links to my inspiration for this composition, which is actually, like I said, a Japanese artist doing woodblock prints from over 200 years ago, who kind of taught me some cool stuff just by looking at these old woodblock prints. So I will post some more links to that, and I'll post the final artwork over there and some process pics and any other notes and comments from patrons. Thank you so much, patrons, for joining in, becoming a patron, making it possible to do these live draws, and just helping Comics Workshop do all the stuff we've been able to do this winter. It's been a lot of fun. Oh, hey, we've got a new mini over at the Patreon. It's the Black-capped Chickadee book. This is the first of the bird books that I'm going to be doing. You open it up. It's got all this information about the black-capped chickadees. You open it up. It's got how to cartoon the black-capped chickadee. And also I'm sending out to patrons in the mail this month the Magnet Migrants mini from last month, which we drew with school group with Children's Literacy Foundation. And we've got some older stuff, the Umbrella Man issue 1, and there's Top Hat Cat right there in Top Hat Cat's first mini. So those are all going out. And then there's some new projects coming up too, and some cool new announcements about the upcoming books, graphic novels. So that's all going on over at the Patreon. Go on over and sign up and you get the updates and invites and all that stuff. All right, we are out of time for now. I'll finish inking this. I will see you over there at the Patreon, and see you next week for our annual traditional Sing Spring Blob Doodle. Good luck with your drawings, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Happy spring, happy winter, happy end of winter, happy start of spring. The sun's coming back.